I guess it's because we come from such a rank structure, but like in Agile, it's like everybody's kind of equal, but who's in charge? Like that's
Okay. All right. Here we go.
you
All
see what
right.
I mean?
So,
So like,
that's the right question to ask. All right. So, all right. Everybody. So, at your job, like when you're at a fire, tell me how it works. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm walking into.
right.
Like,
So
how did like when you go like how does it work in a fire, dude?
like for the overall thing, you have an incident command officer. So
Okay.
when you arrive, but like initially, like I'm an engine officer. So initially, when I arrive, I'll be in charge. Like y'all
Yeah.
mark on scene, we have that, and I have my crew. And then as a higher ranking officer gets there, they usually take over because I'm doing the work. Like I'm in there
Yeah.
working, so they become incident command for the overall picture of what's going on, and then they kind of delegate everything else from there on out. And then we can break it down into group supervisors as the incident gets bigger, and you may have that, but we still have one main command,
There's like
even
one
though,
main person, and then it goes down. And then I imagine like once you go into the building or whatever,
right.
like how does it work? How does it work? And I'm learning like to see if there's a
Yeah.
relationship. How does it like you're in a fire, it's hot and you could die. Like
Mhm.
how do y'all work in the building?
Like, how do we work it? I mean, we know what we're supposed to do. Our job, like,
Hmm.
say I'm like for me, as an engine crew, our main priority is to put the fire out. Where a
Yeah.
truck company is they're there to search, do search and rescue, ventilation, things like that. So
Yep.
I already have a predefined task that I'm going to do, and like
Yes.
for the most part, now that can change if there's victims. Like we come across victims, we'll grab them,
Yeah.
or it may change if we get there and they say, "Hey, grandma's in that room." We'll go we won't go pull the hose line initially. We'll go try to save grandma. But
Okay.
we all kind of have predefined roles of what we're going to do,
Right.
what we know we do. We kind of work on a decentralized command. It's something the military says a lot is decentralized command. I don't know if you've heard that with your military guys, but
Yeah.
where you don't
Definitely.
have to have direct communication with command all the time to know that you're doing what you're like, everybody's
Right.
accomplishing the same mission without it having to come from the top all the time.
And if
But
something like a beam breaks or something, it's not like, well, let me call in and say, like, beam broke, grandma's in the back room. Like, you guys are trained enough and understand roles and whatever and the situation and that you can react in a positive way, Lord willing. Is that how would it work if like something weird happened, which I'm
so
sure
with
happens
some
all the
if something bad happens and one of us gets trapped or hurt, we call a mayday, and
time?
that
Okay.
sets off another process. So when we
Okay.
call a mayday, people still have to maintain what they're doing. So
Hmm.
like everybody can't stop what they're doing to go help because the fire still gets bigger if we don't put it out.
Yeah.
So we call a mayday, and a different set of events will happen depending on what it is. But we'll send in we have a team waiting at all times called a RIT team, and the
Hmm.
rapid intervention crew, and they'll come in and they're initially deployed to go try to help save firefighters.
Help that Mayday. Yeah. But if it's
Yeah.
something that doesn't reach the Mayday level, how do y'all deal with that? Like
Yeah.
there's like little like you learn about something as you're in the
Like a
game.
condition change. So if we have something
Yeah.
that changes our conditions, we'll go ahead and we will let the
Them know.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll let IC know. And a lot of times they call for they call it a CPR report. They want to know conditions, progress, and resources needed. And they'll do that
Hmm.
throughout. A lot of times if they think something's changed, they'll ask. But if we have
Okay.
a drastic change in conditions, we do report back like, hey, we're doing this, but at the time we'll probably try to handle it. So if it
Handle it
gets
now. Okay.
yeah, if it gets hotter for like way hotter for some reason, like we're worried about a
Hmm.
flashover or something like that, like we need to address that before we can talk to command. A lot of times we'll start spraying water
Yeah.
before like, hey, guess what? We're getting really hot. Like, well,
Yeah.
we don't need them to tell us what to do
We don't
there.
need to. Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I ask is like I would imagine that in the situation that you described and everything there, there is a structure. There is a boss. Everybody
Mhm.
knows, but it's not like hierarchical in the sense where you have to go to the guy or girl to get that call down because you've been trained, you know each has a defined task, you know what you each like are equipped to do, and you're
Mhm.
prepared a little bit. So and that just helps me a little bit. Like as we jump back to Agile, we ask the question in Scrum, we ask the question like the roles are, we have product owner, we have devs, and we have the Scrum Master. Now, in this one, like here we go. From a guy that spends money on devs and, a lot, like I'm the boss, the product owner. Not just because it's
Right.
my cost, but it's I'm on site, I'm on there. But I'm not looking over everybody's shoulder. So like if they say, "Hey, we want to do this," it's like I take that into advisement. Like, "Hey, we want to go this direction. We think it'd be smarter for us to build this or that or the other thing." It's like I got to trust my guys on the deck plates on site to say,
Right.
"Okay, why?" Oh, well, if it's like, yo, because it'd be fun to build, they don't even think that way. But like if they could, yeah, okay, it's like, tell me more. But like really, it's like, oh, structure wise, it's super important that we build the infrastructure this way or this and it'll scale, or we need to clean this up, or the thing's gonna fall later, whatever, metaphorically. So that's when you know you got a good group. So I'm the boss, the PO's the boss, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not so whatever hubristic in the fact that like I know it all. But I've
Right.
got to set a direction. If I'm weak, they're not going to go know what it is. So it's like a
Right.
balance. The devs are there, like your guys and you are, to say they know what must be accomplished. That's what
Mm-hmm.
sprint planning is all about. The reason why we're taking this week or 2 week on is to accomplish this in the eyes of the customer. Everybody goes, all right, why are we doing it? And they start thinking, I got to put this fire out. I got to build this thing. I got to do whatever. And they start thinking about, okay, I'm getting ready to walk into the build. I'm going to take this. You're going to do that. He's going to do that. They're going to do that. And before they go off and run, you want them to look at each other and go, yeah, right. Cool. Yep. Uh-huh. Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that they all have a plan. And then when you open up the work, inevitably it's Pandora's box. We try to get it like not be that, but occasionally they're going to get, stuff this way and that way. Same if it's bad, like, oh, we opened up the box. When I was earlier in Scrum, and I'm not the best in the world, but like I would just be like, hey guys, this is what we're going to build for the next 2 weeks. First time they've ever saw it, they thought about it and they didn't have the confidence to push back. And they'd be like, oh, let's get going. A lot of times, like the junk would pop out and they'd be in tough land for 2 weeks and they'd fight by themselves. We don't want that. We want them to understand. We feed them the information a little bit as they get like, as it goes up the product backlog and they start working like, hey, we're going to do this next. Is that cool? Is that cool? What do you think? Whatever. So that they've seen it enough. And then when they're like in the actual, when they're prepping for the sprint, like in a sprint planning, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, I can do this. You can do that. Here's what we're going to do. They know that they have a general plan of how they go. All the work's on the backlog. It's been broken down in depth enough with the acceptance criteria, the examples, the things. And then the Scrum Master's kind of there to know like, hey, we got a newbie. Hey, we got this guy who's like tends to pull the work to himself and just lives in his own bucket, to
Mm-hmm.
try to grease the wheels and nudge people to play better together.
Right.
If you find out that there's like, oh goodness me problems, call in. Yo, product owner, yo, whoever, we need help now. Like, you don't want them to wait. Oh, I waited for
Right.
2 days. Why, dude? Call
Yeah. Let
now.
me know. Yeah.
Yeah. But they
Okay.
progress through. Yes. Keep going.
Okay. So the product owner is ultimately who the buck stops with, right?
Yes. It's my
Okay. And
money.
that's, yep.
It's my direction. It's my neck.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but even if you were at like, say it's
If I
not
worked
your
at like Nabisco or
yeah.
wherever, or,
And yeah, they
Tyson
just wanted
Foods.
you, yeah, and they wanted you to come up with a new jelly, but you were like, okay, well, you're still the product owner of that. It's just,
So the way I would, yeah, the way I would operate if I was like, so, when you get into a corporation, whatever, but like a giant one, if I was the product owner, I would say, what am my ultimate goal is to maximize the value for the customer, whomever that is. It sounds like
mhm,
boilerplate stuff, but if that's the guiding thing in your heart, soul, and mind, then you're like, the only thing I care about is using my time and money and resources to get the best thing out to the folks, whoever I'm building
mhm,
for, and thinking through who is my customer. It's the guy or girl that owns the business, whatever the unit I'm working with. It's the in product user. So if I'm like coming up with a new jelly app or whatever for
mhm,
whatever it is, or a marketing campaign, it's like, who am I serving? What's my list? And who do I need to talk to make sure I got the right stuff on the right list? And what I find is that a lot of product owners in corporate America are order takers. And if
mhm,
I was building product owners, I'd be like, you have a backbone for a reason, use it. And so like, but you can't be like, it's like a pendulum thing. This is just me talking about
right,
like, you can't be like, I'm the boss, blah, 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 or I'm a order taker. It's like, you got to be like a little bit past even to be like, you're unifying a vision. You're kind of getting ahead of things, but you're setting that thing that's like hard enough. So it's like not redlined, but it's a little bit past the middle. But you're the
mhm,
boss because they're going to fire you first, or they should fire you first before they fire the devs.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of like that would be basically like on a very small scale, being like an engine company officer or something. Like you're a working supervisor. You're kind of in the middle
Yes.
of it. You're all doing, you can all kind of intermingle in the same kind of work, but stuff goes bad. It's on you.
It's on you. And it's like
Yeah.
this is the strategy that we're going to use to give value to the customer. I'm going to build this, we're going to build that, we're going to build that, knowing that I don't build anything other than draw
Hmm.
pictures and work with UI and UX guys to get things going. But I don't know how the internet works, like, or anything.
Right.
I'm not a developer in that sense. I have to lean on them, give them enough direction, support, and guidance to do it. And then I've got to trust them to get it done. And then, like, knowing that where they are, like the product owner, it's like I got to continue to work the field and understand
Right.
what the next thing is while they do the work. And the Scrum Master's there keeping me honest, keeping them honest, and developing us both so that tomorrow we get better at how we do
Right.
fabrication. Yeah.
And now the Scrum Master is not going to be a developer too, are they? Like they're not going to be doing the
Well,
work as
anybody, so
well,
here's the
or
here's the general rule. Anybody that's working on the product, you end up like getting like a magical hat put in your head that you're like a developer. So like in my thing, when we do develop like videos, PDFs, all that junk, I become a developer and the product owner. Is it
right,
optimal? No, but
right,
whatever, dude. And so like I have to serve both roles. But when I go to a daily scrum, I take off my product owner hat and I put
hmm,
on my whatever developer hat and go like I got to speak as a developer. It's
right,
very hard. But
right,
yeah, the Scrum Master could be a developer if they're doing work. Is it optimal? No. But
right.
like
Okay,
our guy Alex is the Scrum Master. He also builds stuff
right,
sometimes.
right.
But yeah. Yeah.
So okay. Well, yeah, like you said before, I've really kind of jumped into like yeah, I guess I'm kind of looking at some of the stuff right now, but yeah, I've jumped into the velocity and capacity planning
Hmm.
and
Well, let's talk about that. So like you're getting
yeah,
ready. We'll do Kanban board. So we just did like definition of ready, definition of done, acceptance criteria, which are super important because
right.
what's the difference between a definition of ready, definition of done? Like what's that
Yeah,
deal?
definition of ready is like we're getting like we've got everything together, all the ingredients ready to make this pizza, right?
Yes.
Like we're ready to go from here. Um, so it just means we're ready to start. It
Ready
is
to
what,
say, I love that, dude.
yeah,
Yeah. And definition
yeah.
of done is what?
Is that when it's completely done, complete, and it's become a I don't want to say intermittent, but
Increment. Yeah. It
increment. Yeah,
becomes an increment. It gets like its
yeah,
wings or something, I think
yeah. It's
about
when the
like,
increment
yeah.
is born, right? Like that's
Yeah,
a
that's what they
yeah,
say. That's the clever language that they use in
yeah,
the Scrum Guide. It's beautiful, weird,
yeah.
poetic. I guess I'm not a poet guy.
Yeah, no, I like it. So, but yeah, so that's saying that everything's done. It's not half done. It's not almost done. It's done, and now we can present that.
Yes, and additionally, so like step one, like if we think about like setting a system up like this, a framework, the number one thing to start with, this is just me, big picture talking, is to get the guys and girls finishing the work.
Hmm.
Like that's half the time they're like, yeah, we'll clean it up. So get them there. And then you're like, what additionally do we need to do on top of the work so that the like pizza place, hey, I got the pizza, it's out to the customer. But yeah. Done would be I don't know, clean the, sanitize, clean the stuff, put your little pizza cutter thingy, sanitize the area. You're ready for the next pizza. That is done.
Right,
So that and
right,
that. So as I'm developing the dudes in my Scrum Master, it's like we got them to this. Now we get them. Now they're at this. Now every time, so because like that stuff will eat you up later. Oh, yeah, I can start the new work and I can clean up my workstation. No. Like get it all done, and then that's done.
right,
Yeah. And then acceptance criteria is the unique features and functionalities that must be present in whatever you're building. Pizza,
right,
calzone,
right,
Caesar salad, for that to
yeah,
be Caesar salad done.
right.
Um, cool. And then what's a Kanban board?
And common board's like it's kind of like a list of different things. Like it's just kind of it's not a grab or anything. It's just a list, like things that like a to-do list, what's being done.
Mm-hmm.
You can add, I mean, different stuff. And then I know the basic one was like what's being done, I guess anything needed, and then what's done, and then what did we basically re-put on the backlog. And I can't remember what they
Yeah.
used for that,
Well,
but like
yes.
ongoing work or
Mhm. And our goal,
uncompleted.
yeah. Beautiful. Our goal, like, why do you use it?
I think it gives everybody a bit. It's like the visual representation. Everybody can kind of follow along. So kind of like what we do with a lot of things with work. Put it on a just using a dry erase board daily to say, hey, this is what we need to get done. It's have we done it? What do we need to do for a day? And then, yeah, we didn't get to it. We put it on a day sheet for, hey, it needs to be done tomorrow.
100%. It's like you said, visualizing all the work that is available that we must accomplish and where it is right now. So it's not like, oh, I got something in my pocket sitting on the side doing whatever. Nah, dude, everything's on the board. And let's be clear. Number one thing, like we talked about levels of like development. Number one thing is like get it on the board, like in the sprint. Like, hey, the question I would ask, like as we go out there and work with people is like, okay, now tell me everything else that you got going on. Because they're like, well, what do you mean? It's like, no, I know you're doing other junk. Like, tell me everything else you got. Oh, well, it's like the institutional inertia that exists. So you're trying to like be very clear with what everything there. And then where's my little pencil? Once we get this going, it, like you said, the columns are representative of the workflow, whatever it is. That's a terribly drawn Kanban board, but who cares?
Yeah.
And so it's like everything to do. Like that's all the work we got to get done. Sweet. This is like in progress.
Yeah.
Sweet. Then it's like maybe it needs to be QA'd. Then maybe it's like done. Yeah, whatever. Testing, QA, whatever. And then blocked. And they're like, what's the deal with the blocked column?
The blocked is stuff that doesn't meet the definition of done yet. And so we need to look at that and see, why is it not done? Do we need more time? Do we need more resources or whatever?
Tweak on that one. Like blocked means, hey man, it was working. Like we're working on it and I am up against it. Not like up against it, I don't have any time left. It's like I can't make progress because of something. And so
we have an actual block. Like
we got an actual block. Something, and that's just like that's putting it into the like 5 alarm, whatever. Oh my God, everybody look here. Like if it's there, then it should like technically it should like blink like a red light. Like it ain't progressive. Because when it's here in progress, the assumption is steady Eddie, they're working on it, everything's cool, trust them, the cough needed. When it's put here, yo, run to it, dude. What's up, man? How can I help?
Okay.
That's the whole goal. Like transparency, inspection, and adaption is all Agile's like foundations are. So transparency, we see everything that's there. Inspection, we're inspecting like, well, in this one, it's like, how do things progress? We set WIP limits as well. Don't take on 1,000,000 jobs. I know you're smart, but you can only do certain things. Like spinning plates is for the circus, not for now. Okay. And then, hey, we can only work these jobs. And then, hey, man, cycle time and lead time help us understand how long is it taking to get across the board.
Right.
Like even not metaphorically, but if you made just like a dot every day that a job's sitting there and it really shouldn't stay that long, you'd be like, dude, it's been sitting here for like 6 days. So like, we need to make sure that like, not for the sake of movement, but for the sake of progress, that things are progressing or what's up, dude? Because there is no like manual, oh, it pops over here. It's like a dudette must take it over to blocked. So we got to be open and honest and like, hey man, I'm not calling, wolf or whatever. I'm stuck, bro. And that's what daily scrums are all about. And everything's to progress to fulfill the sprint commitment, sprint goal. That's it.
So let me ask you this. When we get into like the capacity planning and stuff like that, like I keep thinking about it, and you'll probably have to correct me on the name, but like that, like Parkinson's law from earlier, is that what it is? Where it's like, if you say it's going to take 2 weeks, it's going to take 2 weeks. Like I'm extremely guilty of this myself. Like it's, it's like, oh, I'll get it done in 2 weeks, and you get it done in the last 3 days, right?
That's so tweaky. That's student syndrome. I'm guilty as well. That means like and you trust, in your brain, hey, it's next Friday. I'll start next Thursday, like a student studying for a test.
I mean, it's how I got through college. No
doubt. And then like Parkinson's is like, if I have to speak in next Friday, I'll let it ruminate in my head. I'll work through different versions. I'll stretch it out and then hit. So it's like a little, like you let the work. There's only you can't like, hey, I got to get done the next hour. There's finite, limits to work and whatever. But Parkinson's, you let it breathe and you think about it and do it. Student syndrome is I ain't thinking about it till the night before,
Okay.
jolt cola and and amphetamines, and I'm gonna get there or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. So okay, keep
Yeah,
going.
I'm just wondering, so like in capacity planning, how, I mean, I'm guessing you're having to discover that when during the daily scrums or the sprint review, I guess, or the sprint not review, but the next one.
Retrospective.
Uh, yeah, retrospective, like
So when we talk about capacity planning, so there's a couple things that we'll talk about. So like we'll step, I don't know if it's back or whatever, but like during the sprint, you could use a thing called a burn up or a burn down chart, which says like,
right,
hey man, we got like 20 cards or 20 story points to do. The end of this is like, day 0, day 10, right? 2 week sprint. If life was linear, which it's not, but straight lines are easy to draw, as I screw it up right here, like boom, kind of right down there to 0, call it 0.
Mhm.
It's like every day, let's not wake up with student syndrome and do this. Boom. Like that's bad,
Right,
right? We don't want that to happen. But that's a pattern of student syndrome manifested. The way it goes.
right,
Zoom. We don't want that. We want more like, hey, we didn't get anything done the first day. Okay, we're getting our wits about us. We're getting it going. Then maybe, all right, we got a little bit more done. Oh, maybe we killed it. Oh, maybe we got some blocked work. We stagnated. All right, maybe a little bit of work grew down. Like did. So we're trying to land this plane on time.
right. Okay,
So while we're in the sprint, one of the easiest before we know what we can deliver, it's better to understand. Its first step is like, let's use a burn up or burn down chart. Burn up is, hey, we start with 0, let's get 20 done versus the other side. Just how you look at life. Glass half full,
right,
half empty. So that kind of gets us there. And then it's like, hey man, I see we haven't got anything finished in like a day or 2 days. Like somebody can, yo, what's up? Oh, I forgot to put it to done, or QA's locked up, or the testing guy's off today, or I'm really having trouble, but I'm going to work it out. Don't worry, I'll figure it out tomorrow. It's like, no, dude. Like, let's work together. So we're trying to visualize that transparency of like what's going on, inspection of like, yo, it looks like we're stuck. Are we? And then let's figure out what to do. Adaption.
okay,
As we
okay,
get
yeah,
rolling, like they have these things because like if we were stamping out hubcaps, like we would know it takes 37 seconds per hubcap. We got 8 hours a day. We can pump out, 9,000 hubcaps a day with all our guys and girls. Sweet. That's
mhm,
easy. But when we're building something like technology based, marketing based, whatever, where we're like, yeah, I think we know how to do it. It's very hard to tell this card, this action, this functionality will take 5.2 hours. It's like,
right,
why are you even asking me that question, dude? I'm just going to lie to you. Like, I don't
right.
know. So we use these things called story points. You know what those are?
Yeah, yeah. They're just like the breakdowns of the epics. It's basically like putting them on the sprint backlog.
Kind of, but tell me, what does like a story point like represent?
Yeah, the way in my mind I was putting it was like kind of like a place on the back of the sprint backlog. Like it's a smaller part of the bigger thing, so it's just an
Okay.
increment that we gotta hit.
Okay, so sweet. So, all right. So the challenge, what could we do? You and I, we're going to make it up as we go. If we
Okay.
had a feature or story or whatever functionality, user story, card, whatever you want to call it, all mean the same thing ish. We had to build something. And I said, hey,
Mhm.
man, we're not going to use hours to see, to evaluate this card. We're not going to use
Right.
hours because it's hard to predict perfectly. What
Right.
else, if we looked at the card, what else could we understand about it that might help us? If it ain't ours, what would it be?
If it ain't ours,
Yes,
no.
sir.
I'm trying to see what you're saying. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me get. When you pull up to a fire, I'm making this up and
Mhm.
I'm going to be wrong, but who cares? If it's like an apartment building, they'd be like, dude, you've done apartment buildings before. Like, how long does it take? Oh, it's going to take
Right.
4.5 hours. You're like, that ain't the way it works. I would
Right.
imagine you have to do something else to tell you
Yeah.
how. Tell me more. How do you in that situation, you wouldn't do hours. What would you do?
No, I mean, we just think about, I mean, you don't think about time ever. You just
No,
think,
I understand that. I'm
yeah,
trying to make
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's more about like if I said, "Hey man, there's an apartment building that's on fire, whatever, Virginia Beach." Like, what's it going to be
How about
like?
we,
And you're like,
do,
"Yeah, go
how
ahead."
about we do it like gallons per minute? So how many gallons of
Oh,
water is it going to
maybe.
take? Right, yeah. So we can't say like, hey, every apartment fire is going to take 2,000 gallons. We might say
Yeah.
the next one, like, because this, this one's involved on 2 floors, it may take, you know, you
And
know,
gallons per minute might be our capacity. We're making this example up.
right,
It's going to be confusing, and then I'm hopefully going to clean it up. But if not, whatever, I tried. So, like,
right,
capacity, that's like how many dudes we have or how many hoses we have. If you have one hose versus five
mhm,
hoses and the ability to do whatever. But in reality, I imagine that you might go, tell me more about this building. Is it built like in
right,
1920? Is it built out of like sand or what? I don't know. Is it built like 70? It's a brick. Is it wood? Is it whatever? You need to know more about it. Is it up to
right,
code? Is it whatever? Like, is the roof still on? Like you need to know more about the complexity of the job to be
right,
able to say how many dudes I need, how hard it's going to be, anything like that. Just saying
right,
apartment building on the highway, you'd be like, okay, now we need to start talking. Like,
right,
so, okay, so thinking work wise, I'll show you like when I built, okay, so like, I'll give you an example. Like, I was like, hey, man, we got to have a course schedule for our guys, the ability to see how many the students doing each week and like phase it out by like 2 week, 4 week, 6 week, 8 week, 10 week, 12 week, 14 week plans. It ought to be totally customized and right. And it's got to lay it out and it's got to talk to the back to be able to, like, when they finish videos, all that stuff checks off and simulators and all the games and all that junk. And it's got to be clean and clear. I can draw it up and envision it, but like in reality, what I need my guys to know is how much work do they bring in every 2 weeks? What is their ability to get something done? So when they look at a
mhm,
card, hey, we're going to build a visual for like how they do this, the schedule. They say what we're trying to do is define how difficult, complex, if you will, risk laden, just challenging that piece of work is.
okay,
So maybe I should have started there. That's what story points do. It gets us away from hours and it gets us from saying, a rough way to say, it's really hard, it's really easy, or it's medium.
okay,
And it's like a scale. And they might go, like, you might have, let's just, for lack of a better, like, we got three devs because I didn't draw more. And what we want them to do is say, hey, man, let me describe this job. Hey, I need you to build this feature. It does this, it does that, whatever. I want them to think in their own experience, in their own brains about that job. And they can ask questions and it's not a test and all that junk. And they do a little talking. But at some point we go, all right, everybody, 1, 2, 3, tell me how hard it is. This dude might go, whoa. Dude might go here. And this dude might say here. What would that
okay.
do for us in sprint planning? If they say one dude says super duper hard and the others go, medium-ish, what would that do for us potentially?
I mean, it seems like it's probably going to be medium-ish, but they would have to kind of like, we'd want to talk about like, hey, why do you think this is hard? Do you have any other experiences that have proven that this is hard compared to what are these guys missing? Or,
Right.
or vice versa. What is he missing that he doesn't realize it's just easy?
Right. And
Okay.
yeah, it's one of those. So like our goal in sprint planning is to get as prepared as we can for like the 2 weeks of work. So instead
Okay.
of saying, I have this job, it takes 4.5 hours, you can do it, Joe, it's your job. No, dude. It's like, yo, I'm going to describe it. We talk back and forth and they go, because like if this guy is if the middle guy is super, what do you call it? Like experience, they might go, I'll just wait and see what he says. And then I'll just go, yeah, sounds good to me. We don't want that. Yo,
Right.
we want what this guy says. And because it infers like they all have different perspectives and they all have different experiences and they might be seeing things different. And just because a guy's young doesn't mean he's dumb, but he also could be looking at things wrong. And it might be like, oh, shoot, you're totally looking at it, building it the wrong way or a different way or a way we wouldn't build it. unearth that early. So we talk and maybe we agree on like here, or maybe we agree on here, or heck, maybe we agree through the discussion. It's even easier than we all thought. Like we
Right.
don't care as long as we get to that point. Now, what story
Okay.
points are is a numbering system. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. I didn't balance myself out well. 13, 21.
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci, dude. Now we're in the Da Vinci Code, apparently. So,
Yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, whatever. So, like, that's all it is. You could say hard, medium, easy, over easy, whatever. I don't care. Use egg vernacular. Like, they just came up with a numbering system.
Right.
And they
Okay.
spread out because it's naturally occurring in nature and all that other junk. So, like, basically, if some dudes you get, and it's a system that like these dudes come up with their own, like, hey, a 3 to us is this. A 13 to us is this. Remember that job we just did? That was a humdinger. That kind of feels like a 13-ish. So we all kind of get seasoned to like, yeah, that's our kind of 13.
Right.
It's a quick language thing.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was getting user stories and story points mixed up with each other.
Yeah, user stories is just the way we write stuff to allow
It's
it
the
to be.
backlog.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
backlog is full of what they would call user stories,
Okay.
features, functionalities, whatever you call them. Written in a way, user story format usually. What's user story format usually? What's user story format?
Like, I mean, the way I've just been kind of like processing it is just it was something that we put on the product or the sprint backlog, and so it's just kind of like whatever our I don't know. I almost feel like it's like just finding our next task, like
It
what
is true.
like
It
what
is
needs to
true.
be done. Not necessarily the complexity of it, which is that's where I was kind of getting them confused, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay. We're working through the jungle, and so like we could build a a scheduling mechanism into our site for students to see their schedule. I'm getting tongue tied. Who cares? We could
But
be
we're
very factual or something like that. Go ahead.
but we're trying to do it from like the user perspective more than our.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. Because they'd be like, oh, hold on. Because like if I go and I give them this is exactly what I want, exactly how I want you to build it, exactly everything. I'm putting them in like a tight little box where there's no flexibility. Now, I might have something that's like contractually obligated or government obligated. We must do this. But
Mhm.
most times, what we're building is to serve a need. And
Okay.
these guys and girls, the devs, developers, have the ability, to design or the solution with a little bit of flexibility to meet that need. So instead of saying, build exactly this, I'm a robot, you're a robot, do your work or I fire you. Like we want to say on the user stories, yo, who are we building it for? What does it do? Why? To keep that conversation, to start that conversation so that we can better understand the card, better understand how we're going to get it done and the complexity and all that jazz so that it gets better, better clarified about how big and complex and how we're going to go about it. So that when we bring it in, we have a better chance of not overfilling or underfilling our bucket of work and having a chance of delivering something that actually gets closer to the need. So like the example that we use for like a COVID app, like if you want to go to back COVID hot and whatever, it's like if I was building an app or something like that for a doctor's office, it'd be like, hey man, get a scheduling thing and a notification for your stuff. I could tell them like, hey, I want a notification to send to the customers when they're ready to come into the office. I could tell them just build it and they build it. Or I could say like, as a, orthopedic, customer, I need the ability to see the time that, I can come into the office within a certain timeline so that like, I don't have to come into the office, be exposed to COVID and do whatever. So like that, I'm doing a terrible job of writing a user story, but something like that where the guy goes, oh, okay. This is for the orthopedic office. Is it for the other guys across the street too? Well, I guess we could do it for them. No, no, no. It's just for us for whatever reason. I don't know. And
Right.
then what do
Okay.
they need to do? Oh, they need to be notified. Is it like do the phone? Are we going to call them? Are we going to text them? Are we going to email them? Are we going to put it through the app? Are we going to, how are we going to do it? Or is it going to be iOS and the other thing? Or what if they don't have a phone? What if they let their,
Mhm.
oh, shoot. How often well, do they have to log it? Like it starts asking a bunch of questions that when they start building the solution, then they're going to have a little bit more depth instead of, I just built you a text notification. You're like, but dude, they don't use their text, or I don't know. And then
Right.
why? Oh, because they don't want to be in the office. Okay. And they might say, well, we could do this and it'd be something else. Does that make any sense? So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
user
No,
story
absolutely.
format.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're trying to do it look at it from the user's perspective and how it'll benefit them. Like
Right.
the
One
best.
minor example that we're using now, maybe this helps, I don't know, is like we take attendance manually. A lot of times when we build technical stuff, we don't start
Mhm.
with the fancy pants solution. We start with like brick and mortar, Excel, whatever, do it that way, and then have it evolve into something fancier. It just seems to work better and we evolve over time. So with like taking attendance, it was piece of paper, Excel, whatever. And I'm like, dude, this is not scalable. To say it nicely.
Right.
Now we're like, I go to my guys. This is not in sprint planning. This is before. Yo, like as a coach, I need the ability to take attendance weekly. Like as a coach, that's who I am. I need the
Mhm.
ability to take attendance in every call. And they're like, why? So that I can see who's coming to class and I can send notifications that like get them into class the next week and this week. And I can provide insights into the clients if they're, corporate thingies to say, hey, Joe and Jane are or are not coming to class. That's kind of like not as concise as I'd like to be, but something around there. And then I was like, oh, I have some just general designs. Through the initial discussions, as it's a card, as it goes up the chain, what we've done is like we've gone through a lot of potential quick possible solutions that had different ramifications. If I said I want it this way, they were like, dude, that is going to wreck the way we store information. I'm like, all right, well, let's not do that. So we went through like 4 or 5 different paths, and now we have a solution that's robust, resilient, will scale, won't wreck the dev platform, and can be easily built. I'm like, oh, that's better than me being super smarty pants, showing up and just wrecking everything.
Right.
So that's why user story format is important, and backlog refinement will get it up the chain and get it ready there. I'm mixing metaphors. So cool.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Next thing is like, okay, so we said like, hey, as the guys and girls developers talk about a story, they're gonna arrive upon like they'll go through multiple rounds. Hey, we think it's an 8. Sweet. Now, when they bring into a sprint these cards, they'll just have like think about it like as a sticker attached to the back. This one's
Mhm.
an 8. This one's a 3. This one's an 11. This one's a 5. This one's a 2. Gotta hope this adds up nicely. And so that's 10. I'm adding them up. 15, I think, or 18. Goodness me. Don't do math, even stupid math. It makes you look dumber. That's it. Me, not you. 8
I
plus
get it.
3 plus
Like
11 plus
29.
5 plus 2. That's 29 story points.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what it says. It means we as a team have decided to bring 29 complexity points into our thing. Doesn't mean hours, doesn't mean dollars, doesn't mean anything. It's like that's our general understanding, and there's some play in there. So, like each sprint, we know this one is 29. Sweet. When we finish it, say we didn't get the 5 one done. So I can do that math. We got 24 done. Okay. Just put it on a little chart. Let it eat. Velocity chart. The next one, we do another thing. Maybe we take in, I don't know, 27 and we get 20, 25 done. Then the next one, we have, whatever, and we get, 19 done. And then we get another one, we get a little bit more done, and then we get whatever. After a while, first of all, our numbers will start to triangulate about what difficulty is. So, like, after a while, you get steady state. Oh, we know what a 3 is. We know what 11 is in our brains ish, like
Mhm.
complexity. But after a while, like we'll be able to see a general like average. And we'll say, yo, we get about, I drew a bad line, 23 done, story points done per sprint. So that's, what do they call that? If that average of like 23, what's that number? What is that measure called? Starts with a V and ends with a Y.
Yeah, I was just saying that's our velocity, right?
Yeah, that's our velocity. So what does that mean in like real people talk?
How much work we can get done in that sprint period, 2 week period. Like,
Yeah. It's like how full is our bucket or whatever.
yeah.
What's our capacity? What's our ability? What's our historical average of what we've been able, complexity points, story points, whatever, to get done. So that's sweet. And so if we go in, oh my God, we're gonna plan here or plan here. It's like, nah, dude, we're aroundish here.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't want is if we look back, you could have 23, but the 23 could be here and here, here and here. We don't want uppy downy, uppy downy, uppy downy, uppy downy, because that's like not steady. We want smoothie, 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 smoothie. That shows that like, what's the difference? Like if you see like killing it, not killing it, killing it, not killing it, versus like the waves, like what would that tell you about the team? Those two different patterns.
That I don't think we're doing great velocity planning at that point, or where our story points aren't really lining up. We're either planning too much or not planning enough, depending on it,
Right.
or some of our work is like too complex. We're not spreading out the complexity of it.
Right. And it might also, all those things are true. And it might be like on these weeks, we're doing a lot of work. We're not smoking cigarettes and hanging out. We're working, but we're just not getting it done. Maybe our
Right.
ability when the challenge comes is we don't collaborate and figure out what we can get done. Or, in addition to everything you said, is the product owner is so spacey that they're not breaking things down well enough. And we're having to deal with all this stuff. So it might not just be the devs are smoking and joking. It might be, dude, we're doing the best we can and burning ourselves
Right.
on both ends to deal with your inability to be precise.
Right.
If we,
Okay.
if we get around this neighborhood, assuming that it's, whatever, then we're like, all right, what we say we can do, we do. And we're not sandbagging. It's like,
Sorry about that. That's my the Roomba just went off.
no, that's all right, dude. The robots think we're talking about them, dude. It's totally cool. So I don't even hear it. So like, yeah, we're good. Yeah. So that's what we're trying to get to. In order for that to work, the system's got to work. Good backlog refinement, good sprint planning, good collaboration during the sprints, good daily scrums, good sprint reviews, good retrospectives as we get better. It's like an indication of our thing. I don't want fake numbers. I want real numbers. And I want, like, as we go through here, it's more an indication of our success and our ability. So that's what velocity does.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like it's shining a light on like our abilities.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. We can see and it helps us plan for the future a little better.
Yes, sir. There's this thing called a cumulative flow diagram that do I have different colors? Yeah, I did different colors. You haven't watched the videos yet, but let's say like 40,000 foot view. And if we looked at like 6 months of like the team working together. Have you ever, I don't know if you remember as like a kid or whatever, like there were like these little fish tanky looking things. They're like small, but you like put like different, I never really did it. I don't know, but it had like different layers of colored sand.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Do them at the beach.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of this thing that's called a cumulative flow diagram. It's kind of like that. It just ain't sand. It's saying like day one versus day wherever, like we're on day 365 now. Across the sprint, think of it, we're working in Kanban, where it's like plan a job, do a job, finish a job, get it out the pipe, rinse and repeat. After we go, the green color, it's made up colors, would be like how much work is like in the done state. So it starts off nothing, and then it's like hopefully it like goes up more and more and more and more and more, maybe like little, but like we're saying over the year, this is it's called a cumulative flow diagram. So like cumulative, it's like we've gotten I don't know 273 things done. Sweet. Then on top of that, they might put like at any point in time how much work is currently underway, like every day. So we might start here. And it's like, at this point we have like, I don't know what that is. Like it's a layer on top. So it's like 20 jobs running at one time, 10, whatever. If what does this mean? If that column gets really big, if that layer gets really thick, what does that mean?
That if that one's getting thicker, then we're taking on more jobs, right? Because it's
We're taking on, we're
yeah,
violating what limits?
the like our whip limits, right? Like our work in
Yes,
progress
sir.
limits. Okay.
Yeah, we're violating. Then you'd be like, whoa, 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 come on down to whip limit town. And like, we want it to be relatively the same. I can't just draw straight, but relatively like a thin layer because things are going for like, from like the orange is like orange here. This is like in progress. And essentially, like the jobs are going from in progress to done and stacking up here.
Right.
There another way they could have drawn this thing is I don't know what I'm doing. Is like this. And I'm just doing a small version. They could have done a bunch of different charts where it's like, yo, uh, how much did you get done over time? You would want your this to like just be a static line like this ish. And then you would want the other one to be like the backlog, where like the backlog's like starting out chunky, maybe gets a little smaller there. So like each one of those tells you how much there. The top line on top of this one. So this is like orange is in progress. And then this layer of sand is like how much is in the product backlog.
Mhm.
Like we don't want the product backlog to get thin because we're like out of ideas, like right there.
Right.
We want the product backlog to be not, it's not constantly going to the moon. We want it to be like steady enough that like in order for like we're processing ideas, we're finishing ideas. If this is staying steady or going up or whatever, it means we're coming up with new features, not for the sake of just like padding our numbers. It's like we're, you know, going out there and
Hmm.
thinking and working. Eventually we'll run out of good ideas or money or time. And we'll kind of like, you know, let it go down. But we want to see that like we're not running out of ideas in the backlog. We're not derelicting our refinement duties. Um, we want to see that this is not growing. We want to see that this is constantly going up the green, and that's like 40,000 foot view over time.
Right. Okay.
And there might be other layers, whatever, for the workflow, but really, it's like to do, in process, done.
Nice. Okay. Yeah,
So like,
that's
yeah, all these layers provided a quick, easy visual, cumulative flow, big picture. How we doing? Um, you know, the Kanban board gives you like right now in the dailies in the Scrum what's going on. Burn down shows like, yo, how we doing? Like as we progress toward the sprint goal. All these things provide some kind of view where you can quickly, easily see, yo, what's going on. And then the velocity is like, are we like this? Are we like this? Where are we? That kind of stuff.
now who's responsible for kind of putting that data together?
Yeah, it's a good question. Who do you think should do it?
Um, I mean, I kind of feel like the Scrum Master could do it to keep up to keep up with what's going on. But I,
Right.
you know, but I could also see the product owner doing it to make sure that everything's on track.
Yeah. And so like the thing that we would want, so it would be best if nobody did it, but
Right.
it's still there. So it's like magic. Like I mean, we are dealing a lot of times with computer folks. So it's like there's a lot of systems that we would use. So like Jira is like a common system that people use. I'm not a proponent of any of them. They're all I'm agnostic. My guys use Jira, but like other things, we would want optimally as little overhead as possible. We don't want to have to elect somebody that you're the number god or whatever. But if we have to, make it as stupid simple and as stupid easy and visual as possible. And if we can automate it, yeehaw. That would be the best
Right.
way. And like a lot of these systems, like Jira, or whatever, is like you load the cards in the backlog, you work it through and set up the sprints, run your cards. Everything's connected to like create charts, the burn down, the cumulative flow, all that junk, and then everything else, like all built off of it. So trying to minimize overhead, but
Yeah.
maximize visibility.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. It would be nice if you had like again, I don't know what those systems and stuff cost, but it would be like, hey, you have something where it's all set up like that, and every time somebody clicks the box on, for done, then it
Yeah.
it it puts a point up somewhere else. But again, I'm
Oh, it
not a
does. Yeah, yeah,
computer
yeah.
guy.
That's like it's relatively inexpensive. Like some of the programs are free. Software's free. It's like everybody in software thinks, or I don't know, just like, oh, this software will solve the world. Yeah, kind of. It's depending how you use it. It's a tool. So like all these things are like, we want to create visibility. We want to create like shared ownership. We want to do all these things. There's whiz bang ways to use all this stuff. You got to find out what's work for you. But like I said, minimize the overhead, maximize the visibility and the collaboration. That's the goal. And so I think you have a good understanding of like what the purpose of each chart and visualization is, and like how it like, oh my God, the whip's going over there. Oh my God, we got so many cards in working in progress. Oh my goodness, like our lead time and cycle time are through the roof. Like, why are things getting stymied? We're not using the blocked column. We're not collaborating. All these things just trying to like put sunlight on our lives so that we can be a little bit better at like finding the issues and collaboratively working through them.
Okay.
Because everybody's got to work hard every day. But like,
Right.
you know, you don't want to be that guy pushing the rock up the hill and then fall back down.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Well, cool.
And then I think that like that's pretty good. Like so when you watch those videos, do those things, I think you'll be a little bit better there. And then we can
Right.
talk later about, you know, we could just talk quizzes and junk later. Taking
Okay. Yeah.
questions.
Yeah,
All right, man.
that'd be good.